against the #1 team in the country at that time in her college debut. 27 points against South Carolina.
You talk about setting the bar high. This is a young woman who was on the Canadian national team, participated. We'll see this season.
Michigan, a hot team that won 9 in a row. The Sooners, well, their only loss against number 13 Duke, that was in overtime, 103-99 in a wild one. So expecting a really good game here in the Jumpman, and we are underway as the Sooners win the opening tip. Coming in ranked number 10, one of the best offenses in college basketball, 93 points a game, and most of those in the paint. Here's Beers on a high look. And here's Williams to fire right away. Nice touch there by Sahara Williams for the first basket.
You're going to see execution. You're going to see up-tempo basketball. You're going to see unselfish basketball, and it's not going to get stuck. The difference here is on this end with 5 guards. Can Beers guard on the perimeter? Because at some point she's going to have to.
Like I said, it's not going to get stuck. The ball's going to be moving. Now look at the starting lineups brought to you by Novon Health. And for the Sooners, now look for Verhulst to shoot the ball too. 44% beyond the three-point line, and she averages 14 points a game. They're getting scoring from a lot of different people. Most of those wearing number 52, of course, in Reagan Beers. Cam Schrader with her first foul, just picked up number 1.
And Oklahoma is so good and talented that last year's Big 12 Player of the Year, Skylar Vann, is their 3rd best scorer, Dave. Reagan Beers and Peyton Verhulst both average more points than last year's Big 12 Player of the Year. That's how talented they are.
Beers run a double as she often does, but it's going to go the other way.
Getting her in foul trouble and making her run are 2 of the strategies that Kim Barnes-Arico will employ with her young team.
So Oklahoma in front 2-0. Yep. Olsen gives it up. Cam Schrader with a long one. That won't drop. And a rebound picked off by Oklahoma.
Nevaeh Tot, a 5th-year senior, number 1, smallest player on the floor.
At 5'3".
Barely. I'm not even sure she's 5'3".
Foul on Oklahoma and on Beers. I should say it's going to be on Verhulst, number 1. And their second team foul.
There are going to be times in the game, Dave, where it feels like Michigan is tilting the floor. They run so hard, and they run wide, and it's challenging to defend in transition.
Be 2 shots here from Mila Holloway. This is a homecoming for Mila. She is a Charlotte native and part of Michigan's terrific 5-member freshman class. Class ranked number 8 by ESPN.
Her brother, Aiden Holloway, is a 6'1" sophomore who plays for Alabama Crimson Tide, and he's a good point guard. And they communicate every day via text. I'm sure he's watching right now.
One talented family. Verhulst giving up the dribble. Here's Skylar Vann. Plays with her sister Zaya. It's a 5'9" freshman on the Sooners. Vann going for it, and it'll go in the other direction. So it'll be Michigan ball here in the first quarter. This, by the way, Michigan's 3rd trip to the Jumpman. They beat North Carolina 2 years ago, and they lost to Florida here in Charlotte last year. Cam Schrader gives it up for Hobbs. Jordan Hobbs, who can score as well. 13 points a game. Shot clock down to 9. And about speed, and they're going to turn it over. So tight defense by the Sooners to force the turnover. Talk about Oklahoma being one of the top offenses in the game. 4 Sooners averaging in double figures. As a team, they shoot 50%.
And they lead the nation in assists. So they move the ball like that. In the slot, Nevaeh Tot knocks down a triple. She doesn't make many, but she doesn't look to score that much. But she definitely does her job well right here, setting the tone on the defensive end.
Here's Hobbs to lift, and it rattles home from 3-point land. Michigan's lone returning starter knocks it down. Verhulst on the baseline. Nice little turnaround. That's a sweet shot.
Peyton Verhulst has improved her game. She has gotten better off the bounce. She was known as a three-point shooter. Her defense has gotten better. She's really thrived under Jenny Baranczyk at Oklahoma.
Jenny Coach of the Year, and it's going to be scooped up by Van. She'll lay it in. Skylar Van with a basket. At 13 and 7 assists in the long game against Duke that went all day, the overtime game. Oklahoma hitting 3 in a row. So they lead at 9-5. Here's Swords. Swords with the ball. Looks far more a veteran. She's just a freshman. That time couldn't wriggle free. Holloway in and out. Rebound tapped out, and it'll be Oklahoma ball. Again, Michigan with a 9-game winning streak. They dropped their season opener to then #1 South Carolina, 68-62. Beers will hit the bench for a little breather.
They have a lot of depth at Oklahoma. They do play a lot of people.
Inside, nice play.
And they have multiple back-to-the-basket options, Scott being one of them. Another veteran player for Jenny Baranczyk.
Yep, she's a senior out of Houston. Makes it a 6-0 run for Oklahoma.
Oklahoma doing a really good job. High hands on the catch.
Olsen to pull up at the elbow. That'll rattle in.
Those in this part of the country know Alyssa Usby, who plays for the University of North Carolina. Olivia Olsen reminds me of Usby. Maybe with a little bit better skill set right now as a freshman.
And Olsen can really score 17 points a game. She and Swords, the 2 highest ranked freshmen in program history. So they're going to be very entertaining there in Ann Arbor for a long time. That one's stolen away. Hobbs with it, takes it in strong for 2.
Good D by Hobbs. Denies the post up, gets the steal, and then takes it coast to coast.
Oklahoma will not wait. The jump shot won't fall. Off the mark by Lexi Keys just into the game. But a good shooter. Also this time with a follow away. Got it. Hit the deck. No whistle there. But she has tied the game at 11. And it's a 6-0 run for Michigan.
Dave, listen. Both these teams put a lot of pressure on you in their transition game. They run it hard. They run wide.
Looking for an entry pass to Van and a foul by Michigan. You said it at the very top. The ball is not going to stay in any one spot very long.
Look at this play right here by Hobbs. Gets off the contact. We used to call that hollowing out, so that you can get off the contact. He has a right hand in the passing lane. And then as 6'3", she's listed as a guard. They play with 5 guards.
13 points a game and can really dish it too. Van out of the double team. Got it free, but the jumper won't drop. Oklahoma fighting for it, and Liz Scott comes out of there with it. Here's Keys again, but too strong. He's averaging about 8 points a game. Transfer from Oklahoma State. An errant pass, and the basketball free on the sideline. Keys scoops it, and outstanding defense there as Hobbs got back. The 6'3" senior for the deflection. So this one tied 11-11. 4:40 to go. Here's the jump.
Where they say they learn the physicality of the collegiate game by playing the defending champion and the #1 team in America. They said playing South Carolina prepared them for whoever they would face after that. It was a good lesson for this young team that's paid dividends and what we've seen so far from that group.
That's impressive. I mean, going against South Carolina, the reigning champions, best team in America, and stay with them. Now, they lost the game 68-62, but a lot of outstanding performances. We talked about Swords in her college debut in the game at 27 points, looking like she'd been in the lineup for 4 years.
I mean, when you have to go against a team that doesn't let you run your stuff, right? And you have to execute off the bounce. You got to be able to have a pressure package in, and you learn that early. That's important for Michigan. It will definitely help them out because there's not many teams like South Carolina that play the kind of pressure defense that Dawn Staley's team plays.
Sullivan too strong. Rebound loose on the deck, and Michigan will come away with that. Scooped up by Holloway. Freshman right here in Charlotte, and a traveling violation. We are knotted up 11 apiece.
feel like Michigan needs a collective deep breath. Like they like to play fast, but you can't be in a hurry. It's a big difference for Kim Barnes-Arico.
Kim in her 13th year for Michigan. Her team can really score 85 a game. They're holding opponents to just 55 points a game, so they're hanging their hat on defense as much as anything. And Oklahoma's missed 6 consecutive shots. Downstairs, Johnson, had a layup but couldn't hit it.
Well, Michigan did a really good job rotating out of that high, hard hedge and not giving up an easy 2 at the bucket.
Swords looking for an opening, will lay it up and in. And a whistle as well on the play. So she'll be headed to the line for a 3-point play. Actually, they're going to go the other way on this. That's going to be an offensive foul. So no basket.
Remember, the restricted area is not a part of the women's game anymore.
And for Swords, that'll be number 1. 3:38 to go in the first quarter. Oklahoma, number 1 in the country. We're talking about South Carolina. Number 1 in the country in paint points. 48.6 paint points a game.
That's number 5, too, in white right there. That's a big reason why.
Reagan Beers back in. She has been on the bench for a little while. The three-pointer won't fall. Beers grabs the rebound, getting 10 a game. Keys gives it up for Van before the shot, a 3-second violation. So Oklahoma will give it back.
You know, if I was playing Oklahoma, I would establish that early in the officials' ear when they come over to say hello. You know, hey, keep an eye on 3 seconds.
They like to live in that paint. A little short by Hobbs. Sooners will push it in transition.
Michigan doing a good job matching up.
Williams got it up there and it rolled in. Great spin on it.
That's a tough 2. Look at the pace of this game. The shot clock's at 27, and Silas Swords is already at the rim taking a jumper.
And it's been that way since Jump Street. Both of them want to get 95. Here's Van straight on, but too strong. And Beers had it knocked out of her hands, and also a foul on the deck.
I love a high possession game, and that's what you're going to get right here. Look at this take. In a crowd with the left. And then Swords, 27 on the shot clock, OB. And she's shooting that at the rim. That's how quickly Michigan gets it up and down the floor.
6-foot freshman from Canada. And one of the most exciting young players in college basketball today as Holloway knocks it out.
That's an incredible matchup to keep your eye on. Nevaeh Tot, a 5th-year senior, who has run the show for Jenny Baranczyk since Jenny's been at Oklahoma, against the freshman Mila Holloway from Michigan.
And Baranczyk, former star at Iowa, played for Lisa Bluter there. Scored over 1,700 points in her own right. An outstanding player. Beers going to kick it out. Keys will stick it from 3-point land.
You have to make Reagan Beers a passer because she's 73% in the paint. That is her 14th assist of the season. So turn her into a passer and make her give it up. Make them hit a tough shot.
Sooners by 3. Olsen around the back. And looking for a return pass. Had to save it on the baseline. And threw it away. Keys on the drive and denied. And no foul on the play. Great defense by Quarles Daniels.
Watch the defense on Beers. They collapse on the inside on the pass. And even though that pass was a little low, you see how Lexi Keys drops her hips, doesn't drop her hands. Really important for a shooter not to drop their hands.
Keys at 5'7". And he can hit the 3-point shot. Williams has it stolen away. Picked by Olsen. Olsen will fire the pass for Holloway. Back inside, and flipped up and a miss from short range by Van Timmeren. Sooners trying to build on a slender lead here. trying to do it from three-point land, and they will. The shot by Todd.
Todd with her second triple. She only had 5 on the season coming into the game.
Out of Columbus, Ohio. 2024 Big 12 honorable mention. Really good player, as you mentioned.
One of the triplets of Helen Darling, the 2000 Big 10 Player of the Year at Penn State. WNBA player as well, who actually works for Nike.
Oklahoma on top by 6.
We're here at the Jumpman Classic. The Jumpman, the Jordan brand.
Todd just hit the deck. Shot clock is at 5. On the entry pass, they'll get it outside now. The shot won't drop for Cam Schrader.
I mean, Beers rebounds it and just starts throwing it towards midcourt, right? They just run hard. You will very rarely see any Oklahoma player come back to get the outlet.
The Beers trying to get position downstairs to get an entry pass, but they're really pushing on her, and now she hits the deck and they foul her. A lot of contact there on the 6'4" junior from Colorado. AP third-team All-American last year. She comes from a great athletic family. She's got brothers Rocky and Rowdy who play college football, and her sister Riley is signed to play at Belmont.
I bet there's some good 2-on-2 in the backyard.
Just a little. Like to see some of those Thanksgiving Day football games in the backyard. Beers to the line. National Player of the Year candidate. They are making her work for her points here in the early going. Tail end of the first quarter in Charlotte at the 3rd annual Jumpman Invitational. And a 7-0 run now for the Sooners. They had their biggest lead so far, on top by 7.
This Oklahoma team going into the SEC for their first year of conference play is going to be really interesting because they play a different pace than anyone else in the league. And as a team, they make 9 threes a game. Playing this pace is going to be really fun to watch.
Holloway trying to take the corner. Down to the last 5 seconds. Her follow-away shot won't go. And that's going to do it for the first quarter. So a late run there by Oklahoma opens up a 7-point lead against number 20 Michigan. Here in our second game of the Jumpman in Charlotte, North Carolina. Come back for the second quarter. From both conferences come NCAA tournament time, but most people are talking about maybe 10. Don Staley said 10 anyway on the women's side when I saw her at South Carolina on Saturday. And Todd Golden, the Florida head coach, as they won against North Carolina tonight, he thought at least 12 for the men.
Yeah, Joe Lenardi on the men's side has 13 out of the SEC. You know, with a realignment in the power leagues, there are going to be multiple double-digit bids from several of these leagues, including the Big Ten, along with the ACC and the SEC.
Oklahoma leading here 20-13 as we get the second quarter underway. Dave O'Brien alongside Deb Antonelli. It is the 3rd annual Jumpman, and tomorrow more good basketball coming from this floor. We had an excellent game. Tremendous second half in game 1 in the men's. As North Carolina fell short despite a big rally from 17 down and fell short to Florida. And the Gator men remaining undefeated, one of the 5 unbeaten teams in the country. Holloway to the foul line. Back out for Hobbs. Jordan Hobbs, academic all Big Ten last year, and a whistle. All academic, all anything academic out of Michigan is a big deal.
Yeah, it's an excellent school.
One tough school. Liz Scott will foul. Well, that'll be your first. Silas Swords back on. And the freshman has found it tough sledding so far in this first half. And Del Foss will also come back on, the 6'3" freshman from Michigan. Missed the first 5 games of the season, but she's really contributed since. Hobbs with the bounce, he gave it away. So Oklahoma trying to build on their lead. Van bouncing it hard. Back out to her sister, Zaya, who will slash inside and draw the foul.
Really nice move by Zyla Van. She just sets up Del Foss by a couple of hard dribbles, going to the left and then spinning it back to get to her right hand.
So for Zaya Van, 2 shots. 85% at the line, the younger sister to Skylar. And the top incoming freshman in Oklahoma. And smooth there. So 22-13. Michigan without a point in over 4 minutes. That's because the defense has been really tough like this. And that is going to go the other way. That's going to be Oklahoma ball.
You know, Michigan has won 9 in a row. They come in here as the number 20 team, and Oklahoma has a little bit more experience, and you see that experience on display right now. You know, with a freshman point guard, with 3 freshmen that you've relied on very heavily to be 3 of your top 4 scorers.
And Cam Schrader with the foul, number 3 on Greta, so she's in trouble. And at the moment, Michigan is too a little bit. Zaya Van bouncing for Skylar Mann. Rebound tipped away, and the Wolverines have it. They need to go on a run. They need Swords to get going. 37% beyond the 3-point line. An outstanding shooter. Graboskaya inside. Got it to go.
Yeah, Graboskaya with that nice black eye she got in practice the other day. She's got to be able to be a threat against Beers and put a little pressure on her.
That's going to be a turnover on a carry. So when I was a kid, you took pride in this. You'd wear that proudly in school.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Greta Skyoff does wear it proudly. Look at that nice move, high off the glass. That way you can handle a little contact. Beers does have that 1 foul. She doesn't want to pick up a second before the break. I think Jenny Baranchek would sub her out.
Hobbs in heavy traffic, but the return is up and in. Jordan Hobbs with the basket to make it 22-17. Michigan closing the gap a little bit. And again, Beers going down and tangled up. And a foul will go against Michigan. They're trying to do everything they can to push her out of that lane.
We've got to meet her earlier. If you wait till she gets to the front of the rim, you're going to be buried. So when you're in transition running back with her, you can't run alongside her. You've got to get in front of her, and you got to divert her away from the ball.
Yulia Graboskaya with the foul, and another whistle here. And that one will go against Oklahoma. And go against Beers, her second. They're getting really physical.
Yeah, Reagan Beers told me that she was looking for a culture similar to what she had at Oregon State when she was picking her next school, one of the most coveted transfers in the entire country. She took back-to-back visits from Oklahoma and then went to UConn, and she said she just felt that Oklahoma was home. That's what she told me, and it looks like obviously that's a big decision that's really changed this Oklahoma program this season.
Offensive foul, and against Jordan Hobbs, number 1.
Well, when the realignment came and Oregon State was left out of the mix, everyone left. And Reagan Beers was a great player at Oregon State for Scott Rulick. And she's got a wonderful opportunity with a team that built around her as a lot of shooters. And that's what you want as a post player, so you can get that one-on-one on the inside.
Liz Scott on the baseline, though. Big battle for the rebound and another foul. Those whistles are really ringing here with 7:11 to go in the quarter. And the foul will go against Oklahoma. Sahara Williams, number 1 on Sahara, former McDonald's All-American.
Let's see if Michigan can get a couple of sides here. They can go ball reversal and see if they can get Oklahoma on a closeout.
So Michigan ball. Michigan number 20. Oklahoma number 10. The Oklahoma men also in action. The Michigan men tomorrow against the Oklahoma men in day 2 of the Jumpman. Off the back iron by Swords. Just taken away, stolen back by Liz Scott.
So Michigan goes horns with 2 players on the elbows, and they go stagger for Swords, and she gets a good look.
Top of the high post. Well, a lot of players hitting the deck here. Williams gets a good look, but can't cash in. A physical game here in our nightcap. Night number 1 of the Jumpman.
Good help.
It's going to be a kickball. Swords got a shoe on it.
Really good help by Zylovan that time to dig in on that penetration by Silas Swords. Scoring's really slowed down here.
Yes, it's bogged down with all the physical play and the fouls.
And the whistles.
Scott up top. Verhulst. Tops hit a couple of shots. Nice pass in the lane. Williams can't hit it. And Swords is going to be on the line, so it goes back over to Oklahoma.
You know, there's only 3 places on the floor you can really be physical. On the glass, post up, and at screen, point of screening action. So anything else off the ball, cutting, freedom of movement's an issue in the women's game. But you have to let some contact happen in the post, and you have to let a little bit on the glass.
Totally. Michigan back to the bench. Brooke Quarles-Daniels back on, and Swords will get a breather here in the final 6 minutes before halftime. She's not been a major factor yet. Oklahoma, no points since Reagan Beers left the game.
Really good anticipation on the back row by Holloway.
Here's Hobbs around and out. Another battle for the rebound. They let them play on. The miss by Quarles-Daniels, but then a foul. So 5:39 left before halftime. In a game that started out very brisk with free-flowing offense, up and down the floor. A lot of good shot making. Different story here the second quarter as Keys picks up the foul, her first.
Well, as much as both these teams like to play fast, you are preparing for your conference, and one of the things that you're going to do, or on the top of the scouting report for both these teams, is you're going to make them play in the quarter court. You're not going to let them get transition opportunities. They're too good. So you have to take something away, and that's, to me, that's on the top of the scout for both these teams.
Verhulst trying to kick it back out, but gave it away. That'll produce a fast break opportunity, and laid up and in by Holloway. And a 7-0 run for Michigan to close the gap to 2.
Brooke Quarles-Daniels has done a nice job off the bench. She's made some defensive plays, and she's helped them score in transition.
Came in averaging only 6 points a game, but a transfer from Oakland. She scored about 800 points there. Van trying to maneuver inside. Can't knock that down. Right now it's Michigan with all the momentum. Here's the Jumpman. Mila Holloway got it. A 2-pointer. And she has tied it at 22. So the energy being produced from the Michigan Wolverines, the number 20 team in the country. Peloton gives it up. Here's Tot. Peloton setting the screen. Keys to the baseline. Gave it up. Might have been wiser to shoot that, but it was tipped.
It's a good defensive effort. Quarles-Daniels on a closeout on a shooter. We're all tied up in the second quarter.
Well, Beers part of the story, indeed, with only the 1 point. And Silas Swords, who came in averaging 17, has just 2 points to this point. So a couple of the stars have yet to shine here in Charlotte. We're tied up 22 apiece with 4:20 to go before halftime.
And I don't think we'll see any more Beers in this half with those 2 fouls. And Michigan has been able to go on a 7-0 run without Beers on the floor.
Entry pass here for Scott. Shot clock was down to 1. Got it up there in time, but couldn't hit it. Wolverines trying to take the lead back. Here's a pull-up pop and off the front of the iron by Olsen. They'll get a second effort as the rebound's tapped out high. Here's Holloway. Yes. A 3-pointer for Mila Holloway, enjoying a nice little homecoming here in Charlotte. Michigan with their first lead.
Mila has about 12 family members here in the crowd here in Charlotte, her hometown. She told me that one of the biggest things tonight is she didn't want to, quote, do too much. Didn't want to force things with her family and friends here watching her tonight.
It's good to come home, especially around the holidays.
Always great to come home.
I'm sure she gets to stay, too. I'm sure she's not getting on that charter flight going back to Ann Arbor just to come back to Charlotte.
She's going to come home, go right to the house and say, okay, which ones of these are mine under the tree? Okay, I'm going to start looking for those right now. It's stuck up there. Possession arrow will keep it on this end. So it'll be Oklahoma ball. And inbounded for Van. Oklahoma, no points in almost 6 minutes, and finally that comes to an end as Williams drives in for 2.
Really nice job of setting up the back cut because Van dribbles right at the defender. You want to dribble at the defense to freeze them just for a second so you can get that backdoor cut.
Olivia Olson came in 17 points a game and a travel on Holloway. She looked around like, who, me? I can't believe I did that. 25-24, Michigan. As we approach 3 minutes to go before the half, 13 turnovers for the Wolverines. So the Sooners looking to grab the lead, down a point.
Look at how hard Oklahoma cuts. You got to jump to the ball, and you got to make sure you have high hands.
Scott lost command of it and gave it away right to Olson.
Just out of control.
Short jumper, got it. Smart decision. Five-star recruit who led her high school to back-to-back state titles in Minnesota.
Olivia Olson came to campus, and in the first conditioning workout ran a 5-minute, 40-second mile.
Wow.
5:40.
McDonald's All-American, very fit indeed.
Fitness is a big part of the whole equation for Michigan. They look terrific. They're connected. They play hard together.
Holloway with a jumper, in and out. Back over to the Sooners.
But I'll tell you the same thing about Oklahoma. They're just a little bit stronger because they're a little bit older.
Entry pass and a tough catch, but Skylar Van made it. And back and forth we go now at the tail end of the half. Michigan is going to bring Swords back on in a moment. The brilliant freshman, even averaging 17 and 7 rebounds a game. Off the window, that won't drop for Hobbs. And it'll be Michigan ball, tapped out by Oklahoma. Swords coming back on.
This is going to be a young player to really keep your eye on across the Big Ten landscape in Silas Swords.
Entry pass stolen away and a foul. Verhulst hit with 1:38 before halftime and fouled by Quarles Daniels. And so he marched to the other end to shoot.
Peyton Verhulst, you mentioned the Duke game, had a triple-double in that game. 29 points, 10 boards, 10 assists. She also has been given a waiver for 1 more year, so she has the opportunity to return to Oklahoma next year.
Now to DeSoto, Kansas at 6'1". And a major part of the Sooners' success at 14.6 rebounds. And an excellent foul shooter up near 90%. Sooners by 3. See if they can get Swords going. And a collision and a foul here with 1:30 to go.
Sahara Williams is trying to jump and beat Hobbs to the spot on the cut. Oh, that's a foul on Michigan.
Yeah, that goes
Kim
on
Barnes-Arico
Swords.
is like, okay, I think I'm with Kim Barnes-Arico on this one.
Swords will pick up the foul. And so it'll be Oklahoma to check it in.
I thought Sahara Williams was trying to jump to the spot to beat the cutter.
Holloway back on now for Michigan.
Got to adjust to the whistle.
Zaya Van with a spin into the lane and left it short. Michigan trying to push it. And that'll rattle in from three-point land. Crockett coming off the bench and providing some offense, and is tied at 30. Verhulst won't wait, and not there for her. The door opening up here for the Wolverines to grab the lead before halftime. And another collision off the ball. And another foul here with 45.8 to go.
Where's the clean, smooth basketball we were anticipating? It's been physical and a lot of skin on the deck.
A lot of players on the floor here. As Hobbs was shaken up, she was called for the foul. Here's second foul. Yeah, the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game is some beautiful basketball, but that sort of faded into the ether. At least temporarily, we hope. And shot, no. Rebound tapped out, and it'll stay right here.
Michigan talking about defending here and then what they're going to do in transition. They should get the ball back.
Sooners get it in. Verhulst hitting the deck, and that goes out of play.
Wow.
I think both teams need halftime. Desperately.
And there's a lot of contact here. It's a loose ball, and the contact forces her to fall.
Both head coaches have similar looks on their faces.
They sure do.
Like, let's get to the break and clean a few things up here. Although it's been a highly competitive game, very physical game. Olivia Olson's jumper short. One and done there. They've got 15 seconds. Oklahoma does get off a good shot. Todd calls out a play, down to 6. They'll swing it here. Van's jumper, and that didn't get there, and that's the end of the half. So it started out with high-octane basketball and ended with a whimper, but tied 30-30. Let's go down to Byron.
One field goal attempt for the nation's leading two-point percentage shooter at 73%.
Yes, just 73% at 26 points against Duke and 26 against Virginia. And Swords and Olson both have to get going. The outstanding freshman from Michigan. So getting the second half underway. Michigan ranked number 20, Oklahoma number 10. Their men's teams will do battle on this same floor tomorrow night in what will be night number 2 of the Jumpman Invitational. Michigan opens up with the basketball in the second half.
We talk about Michigan playing with 5 guards, but I think their length and their ability to play in the gaps is a little bit underrated. I mean, they did a good job on Reagan Beers in limiting her touches. She's going to have to work a little harder to get position against Michigan, and they're going to have to play inside out to set her up.
Mila Holloway had a good, solid first half for Michigan, misfiring with the first jumper of the second.
Olivia Olson came out of the locker room and was running sprints sideline to sideline. That's my kind of kid right there. Getting ready, getting warmed up for the second 20.
On target to get started, and so a good beginning for the second half. Peyton Verhulst with a 3, the 6'1" senior. And a quick strike on the other end for Michigan, as Holloway will drop it in. This is how the game started. Tie up possession. Arrow keeps it right here.
Good dig on the post to get that play on the defensive end. Mila Holloway making another play, this time on the defensive end.
Let's go to Myron.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Bronchick at halftime. She asked me if I wanted the unfiltered or the Reader's Digest version of what she told her team at halftime. Wasn't happy with the turnovers, the fouls. She said they got to take the refs out of it, stop running into people, be smarter. But she also said without Reagan Beers picking up that second foul, that obviously changed the tone of the game, and she thinks this second half will be different. But the foul trouble and turnovers were her big concern.
Nice scoop shot here off the window by Hobbs. Myron, I'm interested to know, which did you select? The unfiltered version or the filtered version?
I selected whichever one she wanted. She picked the Reader's Digest version, but I think she really wanted to give me the unfiltered version.
I keep waiting for the chance to do the HBO version of the game.
Kind of like that myself. Foul here on Skylar Vann will be her first. So Michigan by 1 and the basketball. Neither team really able to break away substantially in that first half. And off for Holloway around the back. Very good with the basketball, although that one's going to be coughed up. She goes down, another scrap, and it's Beers getting on the deck. And now another tie-up. Possession arrow. And the jump will keep it here. So Beers getting on the floor. Reagan Beers, the All-American, third-team All-American last year. So Michigan will have the basketball, just getting started in the third quarter. And Holloway, the Charlotte freshman. Hobbs wants to fire it. That didn't touch anything. Flipped up and in by Swords on the catch. Now 6-0 run here for the Wolverines.
Well, they had Beers isolated inside. She's working hard for position, and Olivia Olson doing a good job defending, and she comes up with a rebound.
Olson ran those sprints to get started. As you mentioned before the game resumed, will draw the foul. Getting a warm-up in before the third quarter. And she will be at the line. Good foul shooter, too, at 80%. And Tot picks up her first foul. She'll hit the bench.
As you mentioned earlier, this is the number 8 rated recruiting class at Michigan by ESPN. They have some very good talented freshmen.
We have a couple of Holiday Hoops women's basketball games for you Saturday. ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. Number 9 Duke squaring off against USF at noon Eastern. And then Iowa State and Oklahoma State at 5 p.m. All coming up on Saturday. They want Beers underneath the dribble down and 2. She can do that all day.
Yeah, she's got a great target hand, and they put it right on the money. Lead her right to the bucket. When she's posting up like that, you sort of throw it to the corner of the backboard, Dave, and that's a great place for her to go get it.
And her first made field goal. Olsen in the lane. No. Oklahoma down 2 with the ball. Verhulst picked up the dribble. And giving off for Liz Scott. Verhulst again. Not this time. And another tie-up. Boy, there have been a massive number of those here. Let's keep the basketball here.
Watch where Beers catches the basketball. She gets Camp Schrader up the lane, and then when she catches it, she uses the bounce to just collect her balance. She's really good at going rim, body, ball. That way you can't block it, and you be able to maybe get an and one.
Beers spending a lot of time on the bench here at the Jumpman Invitational. Foul trouble in the first half. And it just has not been as productive as she has been at this point this year. 18 points, 10 rebounds a game. Swords on the cut. Hobbs in the lane, the runner. Yes.
What a nice play. It's not the first cutter through, it's the second.
Michigan by 4. Here's Keys, a line driver off target, and a foul in the lane.
So that's the versatility of Jenny Baranczyk's offense, is that Beers goes to the bench, and Van, who was last year's Big 12 Player of the Year, can get to the block and post up to get a different look.
Hobbs her third foul.
Van is more of a pick and pop 5 in that position, where Beers is only pick and roll.
Now Hobbs to the bench. And the pass never got there, and another whistle as it's knocked out of play. Now Michigan with a 9-game winning streak. Verhulst going over to the bench to get attended to. And it appears to be okay. And now she will inbound it here for Oklahoma. Inbound to the bank, quick strike, but can't hit it.
Wide open.
Could not have been much more open. Swords thought she got away with a travel, but no. 39-35, Michigan. Both sides looking for some momentum, looking for a run, and looking for a hot hand. Over the top, Scott rolling inside for 2. Well-designed play there.
Good hops by Liz Scott on the inside. Jenny Baranczyk's offense is about reads. It's hard to scout. It's unpredictable. You got to know how to play. So she gives you concepts. Not so many calls.
Oklahoma deflects it out. And Baranczyk winning back-to-back Big 12 championships. She is the reigning conference coach of the year. Crockett coming back on for Michigan.
Crockett gave some quality minutes for Kim Barnes-Arico. She had 3 points. She had a triple in the latter stages of that second quarter. I've been impressed with Mila Holloway, the point guard, though, for Michigan. She has a good feel for the game. She understands tempo.
She exploded for 21 against Central Michigan. Swords pulls up, can't drain it. And they let the ball bounce out, and so the Oklahomas and Silas Swords just unable to get untracked. That great game against South Carolina, came in averaging 17 points a game, but this has not been her night, at least not yet. Beers flings it up there. She draws the foul, and she'll be headed to the line. Reagan Beers to shoot. And she draws the foul on the hip. Graboskaya with number 2.
Reagan Beers has a skill set around the rim, left to right, Dave. Good footwork, catches everything, and can make free throws.
Averaging a double-double at 18 and 10 and makes the pair. And tonight, 5 points. We'll see if she owns the fourth quarter. Holloway with a jumper. Looked good coming off the hand. Couldn't hit it, though. Tied at 39.
You got to like that. Silas Swords is trying to make a play when she's not scoring. She's still trying to do something to add value as Lexi Keys drills a triple in transition. That skip pass is fantastic.
The last 2 games coming in, she was 6 for 13 from three-point land. A 7-0 run. Olsen. Trying to drive it. Scott takes it away. And now throws that one to the sideline. Van went for the save right into one of our cameramen. Terrific play, but right back to Michigan. The jumper won't fall by Crockett. Gets it back in the swing. Swords got it in close. Rabuskaya can't hit.
Nobody walks the ball up the court in this one. And look at that deep seal in the basket. Rabuskaya has no option there because Beers just buries her inside. Great post play, good transition. 9-0 run for Oklahoma.
Play for the national championship on Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific on ABC.
Incredible athleticism. Makes me wonder why they're not playing basketball.
I figured you'd go there.
Of course, I'm going there.
I know where your head is. 44-39 Oklahoma. Last 4 minutes, a nice play here to bank it in.
Good job by Kim Barnes-Rico. It's a 45-degree cut from the weak side, and you get Silas Swords going right. I asked her where her quick release came from because she gets organized off of her change of pace cuts so well. And she said, on the national team in Canada, she stood next to Bridget Gordon, and the coaches made her release it as quick as Bridget did. And she said she was throwing the ball up there thinking there's no way that I'm going to get this, but she kept working at it, and it became muscle memory. And so she has incredible footwork for a young player, Silas Swords.
Cam Schrader just picked up her 4th foul. And Beers will be at the line when we come back. A timeout, 3:30 to go in the 3rd, and it's Oklahoma by 3. Reagan Beers, the All-American candidate for Oklahoma. Very tough first half. Held to 1 point. 6 so far here in the 3rd quarter, Dip.
Yeah, I think she's done an excellent job of getting early position under the rim, burying her defender. And you got to stop the ball if you're Michigan, and you got to make sure you have pressure on the passer and not let them have direct vision into her because she's getting excellent position inside.
She'll be at the line to shoot.
The other thing, too, Dave, is you got to meet her up the lane earlier. You can't wait till she buries you at the rim. It's too late.
Shooting 2. I'll tell you one thing about Reagan Beers watching her play. She loves to play basketball. Even the times she has spent on the bench tonight, that's been considerable for a couple of different reasons. She's had a huge smile on her face.
If you're not playing with joy, you shouldn't be playing.
Olsen.
Basketball's a game about serving the game to make your teammates better. It's about cutting hard and playing hard, getting the stances, all the things that are not on the stat sheet.
Todd hit the floor hard there on the foul by Quarles Daniels. That was moments after Beers made a really nice play to the baseline, the theft, and then the save. See if Todd's okay.
Nevaeh Todd told me she wants to be a referee when her playing days are over.
Really?
I think she'd make an excellent referee. You don't hear many basketball players say that when they're done playing they want a ref.
You don't.
But you know what? You can make a good living and you can make a lot of money refereeing.
Boy, some of these officials, they're working a bunch of games every week. You're right, they're doing very well. The really good ones. Another whistle, 44-41. And the foul will go on. The foul will go on Raina Scott of Oklahoma.
And you know what? The officials work really hard. They spend a lot of time in the offseason. There's a lot of investment in education and money to help them improve their judgment.
And their best day is when nobody notices them.
That's right.
Swords with a bounce speed. In the lane. Quarles Daniels can't hit it. Scott will bounce to the top of the key, and Burholz. Back inside to Beers. Beers trying to get free, but can't.
Really good job making Beers catch the ball outside the lane and then make her play in a crowd. To let her get that deep seal like she's been able to score her a couple of baskets here in the second half.
2:27 to go in the 3rd. And some late night basketball here from Charlotte. And yet another Sooner player hitting the floor hard. Williams spinning and hitting the deck, drawing the foul. Seen it over and over tonight. It'll be Quarles Daniels with the foul. Watch this. Just flung her to the floor. So Brooke Quarles Daniels, 5'7" junior, transfer from Oakland to the bench, and it's 2 shots for Sahara Williams.
Keep in mind for Michigan that Oklahoma averages just south of 93 points a game, 4th in the nation. And while Michigan averages nearly 85, they've been able to keep this into a lower possession game than I thought it would be, particularly here in the second half.
Williams on target, makes it 46-41. And again, neither side has had a breakaway 4 or 5 minutes in this contest.
Oklahoma is number 10 in the country. Michigan is number 20. Michigan's won 9 in a row, both with identical 9-1 records.
Jordan Hobbs drawing the foul on Skylar Vann, her second.
So we did expect a competitive game.
We did indeed. You have 2 teams ranked in the top 20. Each side with only 1 loss, so you figured it was at least going to be close. And maybe come down to the last couple of possessions. It might. Hobbs with another one. Missed the pair. It's a lane violation anyway in Michigan. So Oklahoma by 5 and the ball. Cam Schrader back on, the 6'1" senior out of Illinois. And one of 3 McDonald's All-Americans on their roster, along with Olsen and Swords. Raina Scott. Beers outside the lane. And going to be an offensive foul on Reagan Beers. That'll be her 3rd.
Really good team. Good call. Watch Beers right here. She just runs Hobbs over. She has already obtained legal guarding position, and you're allowed to move obliquely.
So back to the bench for Beers, so not to pick up another foul, which would be her 4th in the last 2 minutes of the 3rd. Hobbs with a triple. Got it. Hobbs
has been outstanding. Plays hard, understands her role, stays aggressive on both ends of the floor.
Verhulst banks it in. A quick strike on the other end. Under 90 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and another whistle. Officials have been very active in this one, with a lot of fouls called. This one will go against Raina Scott of Oklahoma.
Free throws.
So Mila Holloway to the stripe. She came into this game 13 for 13.
That's what you want in your point guard, right? The ability to close out a game late. And you just gave her the jinx, Dave. Way to go.
There's no question about it. And made 1 of 2. So a 3-point lead for the Sooners. And stolen away by Michigan. A lot of traffic in that lane. Holloway on the bounce, Olsen, and denied there by Beers on the clean block. Outside jumper, and that won't drop. It was Verhulst with the block on the other end. 1 minute to go.
Don't you just love the motor of Sahara Williams? She just works really hard. She gets great position on the glass. And she's exhausted, and she should be, because she's played hard.
It'll be Hobbs with her 4th foul. So she's also going to have to come out.
You got a feeling that Sahara Williams is the kind of player that Jenny Baranchak wants to give a break, but hates to take off the floor, right? Because she just makes so many things happen.
on the Cheryl Miller Award watch list this year. 11 points, 5 rebounds a game. Hobbs in foul trouble with 4. And Camp Schrader also with 4. So Michigan with some foul trouble. Swords will back away and launch a long one, but no, it has not been her night. And a standing freshman has struggled pretty much the whole way. Williams can't handle that pass, and it's out of play. So it is Oklahoma by 5. Michigan looking to get a little bit closer here before the 4th quarter.
You like this horn set. 2 players on the elbows, 2 shooters in the corner.
Tend to get up a shot here for the Wolverine. Olsen with an elbow jumper, can't get it to go. Rebounded away and up and in. Grabowskaia right there.
She set the screen. She rolls to the rim for the air board.
4 seconds to shoot for Oklahoma at the end of the 3rd. That's partially blocked by Olsen. And that's going to be it for the 3 quarters of play, with Oklahoma on top 50-47. So down the stretch we come between these 2 top 20s, and only 3 points separating Oklahoma and Michigan. This on ESPN and ABC.
So excited about the 12-team playoff. Oh, there's a turnover off the jump, off the timeout to start the quarter. That's just a lack of focus.
And Keys able to lay it in easily.
And a really heads-up play by Keys.
52-47, Oklahoma underway in the 4th. Swords can't get it up there. And another foul. In the opening seconds of the 4th quarter. And to go on Grabowskaia, her 3rd.
Here's with the block and the contest. And then Grabowskaia picks up a cheap one.
Zaya Van gives up the dribble. Skylar Van in the backcourt with her. She'll thread this one, and it won't drop. He's thought about it. She's always thinking about 3-pointers.
She should. She's a tremendous 3-point shooter.
She gets just a little bit of a break. That one batted away and stolen. Here comes Holloway. Holloway working with Swords, who will lay it up and in. What a beautiful run break. The best of the night. Reagan Beers working on a high post. Beers has more fouls than made 2-pointers, and that one will drop in from 3-point land.
You know about Skylar. How about her young freshman sister? Zaya has done a nice job tonight off the bench.
Lead back up to 6. And a foul as Holloway is hit while attempting a 3. Zaya Van, we were just singing her praises a moment ago, the foul here.
She gets caught under the screen. And Holloway has already proven she can knock down triples.
And back at the line with a miss. 8:40 left in this contest. Earlier tonight, the men squaring off. Number 7, Florida, holding back North Carolina. Carolina was down 17 in that game, 12 at halftime. They rallied, took the lead. But in the end, Florida pulled it out and remains undefeated. The 4th top 10 team that North Carolina has lost to already.
That was a tough one because they really had an opportunity to win. They had the ball tied with a minute 47. They turned it over and they missed the front end of a 1-and-1. And Florida made the plays. They offensive rebounded at the end of the game.
Zaya Van bouncing inside, draws the foul. So it's Oklahoma 55 and Michigan 51, and a whistle foul here against Grabowskaia. Picks up her 4th foul.
It's a good thing both these teams are deep.
Hobbs also with 4. Cam Schrader also has 4 for Michigan. So look at that foul trouble. And that's a long list for Michigan. Holloway comes away with it and fouled on the play by Zaya Van. And the fouls continue to rack up here. This will be her second. So Michigan checks it in, down by 5. And trying to stay connected here to the Sooners. Swords looking for room to operate. Gives it up, gets it back outside the three-point line. Shot clock down to 10. Holloway from the elbow, can't sink it. And another foul.
Those fouls are the ones that drive everyone nuts. It didn't impact the play.
Lexi Keys her second. And there have been a ton of those.
But you know what? The officials are calling it by the rules. It's not by feel or instinct, it's rules.
Shot clock a factor now, down to 4. Still passing it around. Olsen's got to heave it up there. And it never touched the iron, so a shot clock violation.
I've been impressed with Oklahoma's defense. They're not really a shot blocking team, but they're connected and they communicate. They rotate well. They know personnel.
Here's Keys. Got it.
Over-helping, and Keys in the deep corner. That's her second deep corner triple in this half.
Give her 11 points. Came in averaging 8.
That's the impact of Reagan Beers. You're worried about throwing the ball on the block, so you pinch in a little bit, and that leaves three-point shooters open. That's how she changes the space.
Swords. Those Beers staying home, did a good job defensively. Another loose ball on the floor, another scrap for that. And possession arrow will take it to the other end.
Both these teams are playing really hard. And the game has really shrunk. This half particularly, there's not a lot of transition opportunities at all. You got to execute in the quarter court on both ends of the floor.
So an 8-point lead for Oklahoma. And Beers again back to the bench. She's been shuttling in and out. Top player on the floor at 18 points, 10 rebounds. Grabovskaya has been in foul trouble here most of the second half. She goes to the bench for Michigan. Scott to the baseline and a blocking foul. And on virtually every possession on either end of the floor, there is a foul. And that's going to be number 5 on Hobbs. So that's it for Jordan, the 6'3 senior out of Springboro, Ohio. And she has fouled out. First one to do so tonight.
Yeah, and that is one of your most experienced veteran players when you're trying to mount a comeback here.
Verholt's trying to get it in. Finally does for Tot. Under 7 left here in Charlotte. Verholt's on Olsen with the jumper, no. One and done there. Let's see if Silas Swords can get going here down the stretch. Still plenty of time for her. And so far, it has been a very cold night for the sensational freshman.
But she never stops moving. She's always relocating. She's trying to find an angle. She's looking to cut. She moves well without the ball. She's going to be a really, really good player at Michigan.
Represented Canada in the 2024 Olympics at the age of 18. Her dad also played for the Canadian national team back in 2000. Shot clock down to 2. Do they see it? Yeah, the follow away, but it won't drop. Grabowskaia with the left hand, no. So Oklahoma trying to get into double figures in the lead here against Michigan. Van will let it fly and hit the 3.
They left the ball. There was a couple of defensive errors here in this latter stages of the fourth quarter by Michigan.
Little 7-0 run for the Sooners. Grabowskaia returns it back up and in off the window. 6'5" product of Russia. (62-53). Oklahoma with an opportunity to get a little bit comfortable here down the stretch. And another foul from behind on the big. Grabowskaia leaning in, and that'll be number 5 on Yulia Grabowskaia. And she is finished tonight.
Well, Michigan's going to have to do something to speed up the game here. They might have to press. They like to play small. They're going to have to play small the rest of the way.
A lot of players in foul trouble on both sides. Deb Antonelli has 4.
I've fouled you over here. They just haven't blown the whistle.
Yeah. That would be shocking. Williams in the paint. And she commits the foul, an offensive foul. So as mentioned, it is rare that a team has an offensive possession and a foul is not called. An offensive. What are your thoughts?
I might have let that one go and called a flop on that, or just let it go.
Maybe just let it go, yeah. Under 5.
Look at Williams' motor. She is tough.
Did a great job here on Swords and picked off. Skylar Van ahead of the field will lay it in.
You don't very rarely get an assist on defense, but I'm giving it right now to Sahara Williams on that effort. It's infectious.
Williams, sophomore, has had a good night out of Waterloo, Iowa. This one scooped up by Williams. Here she goes in strong off the window, but no. And another fight for the rebound. Another tie-up. And that'll give it back over to Michigan. We've got a timeout. 4:21 to go in the fourth. 64-53. 16 Purdue, number 2 Auburn in Birmingham. Auburn continues to roll. Absolutely blew out Ohio State over the weekend. And Purdue could be a very different matter coming up on Saturday.
Clemson guys lost in overtime to South Carolina tonight. Wake Forest men with a win over James Madison.
Salas, one of the top players in the country, and going to be drilled by Sila.
That is the footwork I'm talking about. That is special as Oklahoma turns it over. Watch Swords come off this action right here and get her feet organized. Watch this right here. She's coming off a stagger. She catches. She gets her feet organized under her shoulders, and she lets it fly. That is a very quick release, and she gives credit to Bridget Carlton, who plays for the Minnesota Lynx in the WNBA, who was her teammate on the Canadian national team, for helping her with her quicker release. There it is again, Dave. In and out.
Michigan counter break as Oklahoma tossed it out. Got a chance at another 3. Entry pass for Beers and converting.
That could just be punishing. Just punishing inside.
66-56 Oklahoma.
Michigan has time here. They've got to score. They've got to get stops. They don't need threes yet. Watch Beers get 2 feet in the paint. 2 points for Oklahoma.
With all that attention to her, she's constantly double up. Had a better second half. Here's Holloway straight on. And Beers with another rebound. So she's starting to really exert her will. Williams trying to keep this alive, was able to do it. Turned over, here comes Holloway again. See, Swords is heating up. That one blocked out of the sky by Verhulst.
Time to score right here if you're Oklahoma. You want to take a little clock, and then you want to dump it on the block to Beers.
Turn around here. That shot will drop by Van. She had a different thought and knocked it down. So 68-56. Oklahoma in great shape here with 2.5 to go. Looking to grab a win at the Jumpman Invitational. And Timmerin will draw the foul with 2:26 to go. So on Beers, that'll be number 4. Coming up on Wednesday, we'll have the North Carolina women taking on Florida. North Carolina coming in at 19. And then men's, it'll be Oklahoma and Michigan, number 14 against number 24. That game to begin at 9 o'clock. And Timmerin, the transfer from Boston College.
I mean, absolutely all-around first-class event here by the Charlotte Sports Commission. And Danny Morrison, who runs the Charlotte Sports Commission. This is our 3rd year of the Jumpman, and it has been outstanding. Another first-quality event.
In game 1, those North Carolina fans making a lot of noise. They were a big part of the reason that North Carolina rallied the way they did in the second half. It got noisy in here.
I thought it was like a home crowd for them. Definitely, it was going to feel like a road win for Florida.
A huge second half by R.J. Davis. He wound up with 29 points. So that's a really good sign for the Tar Heels to see him shoot the ball like that.
And also for Florida, undefeated and not have been in a close game, to be able to finish it off the way they did on the glass. They were terrific offensive rebounding. Made a couple of plays late on the glass. That was the difference in the game.
Last 2 minutes coming up in our nightcap. Olsen back off for Holloway. Her runner is around the good.
Lexi Keys has been chasing Silas Swords all second half and has done a really good job defending.
Yes, 16 points in this one. Beers down low, swings to her right. She's a great shot for her. 10-point game, and they'll throw it away. And Michigan just can't afford to do that if they're going to make any run. With 90 seconds to play. Verhulst harassed in the backcourt and fouled by Swords. Oklahoma up by 10. Closing in on their 10th win of the year. And if they do get it, they will end Michigan's 9-game winning streak. Michigan dropped their season opener going head-to-head with number 1 South Carolina. Gave them a heck of a game. Wound up losing 68-62. And has won 9 in a row since. Swords just picked up foul number 4.
But Oklahoma finding a different way to win, right? I mean, it wasn't pretty. They're a high assist, high possession team. It was a low possession second half. And I thought their defense was outstanding. And they've been able to separate here at the end, not allow Michigan to get back in it.
Holloway's drive. Heading to the 10, she'll draw the foul. And Mila will be at the line. And so Beers is fouled out. Several who have in this game. And let's Scott back on now for Oklahoma. Only 9 points for Reagan in this one, came in averaging 18.
Again, another example of finding another way to win, right? Your leading scorer scores half the amount of points that you count on, and she's fine with it, right? And she's happy to get the W.
As we said earlier, she's happy about everything. She plays with a lot of joy. Michigan to push the tempo with about a minute to go. Holloway around the back. She's had a nice homecoming here. Charlotte product. We'll drop that one in.
She has played well.
Talented freshman. She has 20. And another whistle with 49.2 to go. We've seen this look on the faces of both head coaches because there have been a crushing number of fouls in the ball game and a lot of turnovers.
Well, the officials are calling the game the way the rules are written.
So Verholst to the line. An 86% foul shooter. Scott picks up the miss. And now Tot gives off for Verholst. She'll take her time here. Oklahoma on top 71-62. Shot clock down to 6 and another whistle. And a foul to stop the clock at 33.9. They'll get Olivia Olson of Michigan for her second. And that will put Skylar Mann to the line. She and her sister Zaya. And Skylar is the oldest. She's the senior. Zaya is the freshman. And they have both had a big hand in this one. So back to a 10-point lead for the Sooners. And Oklahoma will pick up the win as Holloway tried to add to her 20-point total there.
Oklahoma has a couple of non-conference games before they start conference play with Texas on January 2nd. Then they go at Tennessee, at Mississippi State. No fun there. That's going to be tough, and that'll be a great way to segue into the SEC.
That's right. Sooners in the SEC now. Absolutely packed. And they're an outstanding team, and they pick up the win by a final score of 72-62. And they end Michigan's 9-game winning streak. For Deb Antonelli, Myron Metcalf, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dave O'Brien. Thanks so much for joining us for both of the games. 2 more coming up tomorrow night here at the Spectrum. We say so long from Charlotte, North Carolina, and now